What's up, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages? It's Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks of Dude Wipes on a glorious fall morning. You could feel it in the air. Walking to work, I had the hoodie on, had my Raising Cane's hoodie on, could feel the breeze in the air. It's October 2nd. You can feel the energy changing toward the best time of the year. And on the way, stop by Stan's Donuts, and you can get Stan's Donuts. You can pick up some Stella Blue, Positive Vibes coffee, the only way to start your morning. I'm officially switching from the iced coffee to the hot coffee this morning because you could feel that breeze and chill in the air. And as always, Dude Wipes here to clean up all of our messes. Walmart, Amazon, Target, nationwide. Let it rip with Dude Wipes. It's a revolution. Check out the Dumpkin Spice. Joined as always by Tyler Moody this morning from Louisiana. Man, we're in good spirits. This is, we got October. You know, we know football season's in full swing, but you know what else is going on? The Major League Baseball playoffs started yesterday. And I got to say, it was freaking electric. Moody, how are you this morning?
Hey, what's up, Ben? I'm doing pretty damn good. A little bit tired this morning, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. So I'm here and I'm happy, bro.
Well, we had a lot of fun yesterday with the Major League Baseball playoffs starting, as always, firing on DraftKings. And look, you know, Moody, I mean, I've been riding with Moody for, this is year 9, year 8, year 9. We go way back. The dude freaking knows Major League Baseball more than anybody in this company. He can say it, whatever. I'm going to say it. If you want to make money on Major League Baseball, this is your freaking guy in this company. Last year hit the Rangers 45-1 to win it all. And then yesterday, he was on here. We started breaking down the Major League Baseball playoffs on DraftKings. He's dishing out winners. I ended up having Detroit and under with Scooble yesterday. Hit a little parlay. Had the under in Orioles. And was it because of me? Hell no. It was all because of this guy's mind. He was dishing out the winners. He had Tatis last night on the home run thing. But either way, we're going to ride this thing. We're going to talk baseball playoffs. We're also going to talk some college football and NFL this morning. But Moody, baseball playoffs, thoughts on yesterday?
Yesterday was pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. You had elite arms going for a bunch of these teams, and they all showed up and showed out. Scooble was electric. He was the guy that you want to see take the mound when you have a Cy Young Award winner on the hill. He was tremendous. He shut down an Astros offense that has been one of the best offenses in playoff history over, like, having Altuve and Bregman and Jordan together. This is one of the best playoff offenses we have ever seen, and Scooble showed up and shut them down. Then you had just as good a pitching in the Royals and Orioles game. Cole Ragans, who the Royals got from the Texas Rangers in a trade, was tremendous yesterday. He was as good as I have seen him the last 2 years, and he's been great. He's had some moments, but he was absolutely shut down against one of the best offenses in baseball. Same thing can be said for Corbin Burns. The Orioles needed an ace. They went out and got an ace. Corbin Burns did his part yesterday. That offense just couldn't get anything going against Cole Ragans, though. That game was incredible to watch from a pitching standpoint. If you love pitching like I do as a former pitcher, that was one of the best games of the entire season to watch two elite pitchers go back and forth. Then obviously you had the Mets offense showed out. I wasn't quite sure what to say about that game. I kind of thought the Mets would win, but obviously having Freddie Peralta on the hill scared me a bit. And then late night, Fernando Tatis. I think he's going to have a huge series, Ben. I think he's going to have a big run here in the postseason. Some people have forgotten how damn good Fernando Tatis Jr. is. I was on him to hit a home run last night. First pitch that he saw, he left the yard. He's going to have a big postseason, especially if the Padres want to make a run.
Yeah, so going into today, just reviewing it for everybody following it, because it's 2 out of 3, first round. Detroit up 1-0, Houston facing elimination. Royals up 1-0. Orioles facing elimination, Padres 1-0, and Mets 1-0. These 2 out of 3, I love the new baseball playoff format the last few years. I like that more teams are in it. And then my thing in sports is always I like games where you just feel the energy, and baseball postseason just always has had it. I hate the 162. It's way too long. But when it comes to October baseball, it's great stuff. And the first thing I'm going to get through, we're going to go through all the games and scenarios. I have a futures bet question for you, Moody. Because we talked about the Astros thing back in the year. You have them 12-1. They're down 1-0 in the series. We're not shocked they're down 1-0 because Scooble is going. We thought that was the game they were to lose. The Astros went from 8-1 to win the World Series on DraftKings to 15-1 overnight. They're 15-1. We thought they'd be down 1-0 today. Like, this is not like I'm not shocked. I still think they can bounce back and win it. I'm thinking about putting some cheese down on this 15-1 before game 2. What do you think?
I don't hate it. I mean, I'm obviously in on the Astros. This is the exact scenario we talked about yesterday morning. We expected Scooble to get the win for the Tigers, and the Astros would bounce back and win the next 2. I still think that's going to be the case. Tyler Holton is going to get the start for the Tigers. Very good lefty. He's 7-2 on the season. He's only allowed 7 home runs in like 97 innings of work. So he is good. And the Tigers are going to compete their ass off today. But the Houston Astros have two of the greatest hitters I've ever watched play the game of baseball in their lineup, Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve. And whenever it's October, Jose Altuve shows up to play some damn baseball. I personally am not betting against this Astros team. I just can't do it. I'm going to be on Houston today. They're minus 180 to win today. They opened up at minus 152. It's moved to minus 180 ever since Tyler Holton has been announced as the starter. Minus 180 is a little rich for me. I don't necessarily like that. I might go Houston minus 1.5. I think I'm probably just going to take some home run props in this game. But yeah, Houston at 15-1. You're not going to find any better odds for a team that good at this point in the postseason.
Yeah, that's my thought. And I was kind of mad all year because I liked them when they were 16-1 and struggling in May, and I didn't take it. And I've been handed a situation right now where I can get the same value, and I just feel like this is the spot to do it. So I'm going to hop on the Astros 15-1 today, and I like their path. If they come back and beat the Tigers, I think they can beat the Guardians in the second round, and then let the Yankees, Orioles, Royals battle it out on the other side. But I was looking – on DraftKings, I didn't see odds to win the AL because I actually would have liked them at like 8-1 to win the AL, more than 15-1 to win the World Series. But all I'm seeing is the World Series price right now.
Yeah, one thing I would point out today as well, DraftKings, shout out to DraftKings. They're giving a home run boost, I think, plus 200 to any bet that you make as a home run, a solo home run bet. Jose Altuve's plus 750 to hit a home run today. You can get Jose Altuve at almost 10-1 if you put this home run surge on there. Alex Bregman, 5-1. You can bump it up to 7-1. I'm going to take one of those two. I haven't decided which one yet. I think I'm leaning more to Bregman here early on, Mintz, because Altuve only homered 2 times in the last month. Bregman has hit the ball much better as of late. I think I'm probably going to go Bregman, put the home run surge on him, and take him at plus 700 to hit a big home run today for the Astros. That's one bet that I'm looking at early on today.
Yeah, and one of the things about DraftKings, obviously we're proud DK partners here at Barstool. Man, the value, they always have all these boosts day to day. They'll give you free bets back, or no, like if you lose a $10 bet, you get bets back. They have all kinds of promotions, so make sure you check your lobby every day because it's always fun value. I always tend to shoot for the moon on it because a lot of times it's like $10 bets, and so I'm not trying to win $20. I'm trying to win 100 or 150. But, sure. Check out that home run surge. Yesterday you were on the Tatis home run.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to take Tatis today. I don't like his matchup near as much today, but I'm probably just you ever see a guy that you just expect to put the team on his back and like carry them to the promised land like Corey Seager did last year? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from Tatis. My intuition was going crazy yesterday before the game. I gave out Tatis homer. I'm probably going to take him again today. I'm not as confident today as I was yesterday because Max Fried does not give up many home runs. But I think the Padres end up winning this series. I know I don't like betting against Atlanta, but I just think San Diego, they have this feel that they're going to be a really tough out in the postseason, and Fernando Tatis is one of those reasons.
All right, we're going to run through these games real quick. Detroit at Houston. This thing starts at 1:30 today. Houston minus $1.80, over under 7.5. Hunter Brown against Tyler Holton. Like you said, the 180 is too much. I think I'm just hopping on Houston here on that futures bet, and that's going to be where I'm at. And I'm going to take either your Bregman or Altuve prop.
Look, Hunter Brown's been great this season. He's a young right-handed pitcher for the Astros that has come into his own this year. He struggled a little bit last year. He has the exact same delivery as Justin Verlander. If you watch this kid, you would think he was Justin Verlander. Replicates his form almost identically. and he has come into his own. He's become an elite pitcher, almost in that elite category, not quite there. But I think he could take a step forward this postseason. I expect him to show up today. The one person that really scares me on the other side for the Tigers is Kerry Carpenter. Watch out for Kerry Carpenter. He smashes right-handed pitching. He, I believe, had the third best OPS this season against right-handed pitching. I expect the Astros to be careful to Kerry Carpenter. If the Tigers want to win today, they need a big game from Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green. So the matchup that I'm really paying attention to is Hunter Brown versus those two left-handed hitters for the Tigers. If Brown wins those battles, the Astros win this game. I expect a good showing from Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman. I might just go ahead and take the Astros -1.5. They're coming back at +124. I might take that. I'm not positive that I'm going there yet. I'll tweet it out in just a little bit. But of all the plays that I like, it's probably Houston -1.5 in that game.
Over under 7.5 today. Yesterday it was only 6.5 because of the Skubal Valdez matchup. So at least there's a little more room for runs if you do have to lay the 1.5. I just can't lay the $1.80. That's just too.
No, you can't do that.
That's too much in baseball. All right. One other thing I want to mention. Dude, yesterday, so we were all watching the game in the gambling cave. Jersey Jerry put a huge bet on Detroit +130 yesterday. And, man, it was electric in there because that ninth inning, Detroit was dominating the whole game, but they had a just straight white-knuckle ninth where Jason Foley came in and was struggling, got pulled, and Jason Hayward absolutely pissed on that ball with runners on second and third, and it just smoked the line drive right at Spencer Torkelson. Right when he hit it, I was like, oh, man, tie game. And then luckily it went right to him. But it was an awesome moment. We were all watching there's a new Barstool show, Fishbowl, with a lot of the women in New York. And so it was one of the funniest things ever. We were all watching Fishbowl, had it turned up while the game was going on, and Jerry was going nuts. And it was just like one of those hilarious Barstool moments that only would happen at this company. But shout out to Jerry. He was pumped, man. I respect him. He fired hard. He hit big, and good for him. And the Tigers, fun story. I just don't.
Yeah, they're a great story. We'll see if they better get it done today. You don't want to open the door for Houston in Game 3 because that doubt's going to start to creep into your mind if you're the Tigers. Houston, again, been there, done that. They better not leave the door open for Houston in Game 3 or the Astros will win this series.
All right, Royals and Orioles today. Our boy Seth Lugo, Shreveport Bossier, shout out, 3-1 great. Going to try to close this out for the Royals, over under 7.5. Baltimore $1.55 favorite. Lugo coming back at +130. Pitching Zach Eflin going for the Orioles. He's good. Do you think Lugo at $1.30 here? I mean, pretty good value.
It's pretty good value. He ran out of steam just a little bit down the stretch.
Makes sense because he probably had never thrown this many innings.
Correct. He spent time as a reliever with the Mets, and they've made him into a full-time starter with Kansas City, and he has answered that. I mean, he has answered the question as to whether or not he can be a starter. He's shown that he can, but he just ran out of steam a little bit. This Orioles lineup is one that's very tough to shut down multiple days in a row. They come to compete. They swing the bat very well. I expect Gunnar Henderson to show up today. I like Baltimore. I do not love them, though. This is probably the one game today that I'm going to stay away from, Ben, because I just don't have the strongest of reads because I believe Seth could show up and ball out. But on the other side, I don't want to bet against this Orioles lineup. If anything, I would probably be on the Baltimore side. I may take Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 total bases as well.
Okay. Well, Orioles last year had such a big year, and then the Rangers got them in this 2 out of 3 series quick.
Yeah.
And now they're facing the same exact thing. I mean, it's another – I just got to feel like an insane amount of pressure in Camden Yards today. I mean, I know they're young, but this is a nightmare because of what happened last year too.
Yeah, both teams are kind of in that same boat about being young, though. Kansas City's young as well. So, at this point, I like the Orioles probably, but it's for me of the 4 games today, it's the one I have the least read on.
Look, I'm riding the Moody picks in baseball, but what I will not be doing is taking $1.50 plus favorites in these playoff games. It's just not gonna happen. All right, New York Mets. Sean Manaea going against Frankie Montas. Mets pretty close to even. Mets -102, Brewers -118 on DraftKings over under 7.5. Dude, this Mets lineup's got it going. They're scoring some runs.
Yeah, they're good.
They're hot. And Manaea's pretty good. I mean, you see it by the line. It's near pick 'em. What do you think about this?
Well, I told you yesterday I thought the Mets would win this series. I'm going to double down on that. I think the Mets win this series. They're playing meaningful games all the way down the stretch. Milwaukee had the Central locked up for like the last month, it felt like. So this Mets team, they have been in this playoff mindset. They're fully locked in. They're getting contributions up and down the lineup. Everybody's putting together pretty good at bats. I think the Mets go ahead and close this out today. The only thing that concerned me is that Contreras has a good game against Manaea, hits a couple home runs because he bashes left-handed pitching. He's the one person to really pay attention to in this game. Jackson Chourio has to step up as a youngster. He did a good job early yesterday. They need him to be a superstar if the Brewers want to make a real run here. I think the Mets get it done, though. I think it's bye-bye Brewers and Mets moving on to the next round.
What do you think about the Contreras home run? Is the home run prop value there with him?
I haven't looked at his value yet, but I'm going to take a look at it.
I'm going to look at it.
He's somebody that he's a gamer. Like I in the postseason, I like to go with people that I know can hit home runs that are gamers, that they're just dudes that flat out show up when the game is on the line.
Plus 425.
Pretty good. I mean, I would probably. Yeah, I'll probably be on that. I'm going to put together a home run parlay today and see if we can't hit something big for the boys, you know?
Y'all follow at Moody Mac TV on Twitter. Dude's just dishing out winners of knowledge. Like I said, I mean, there's nobody in this company that knows baseball better. And I'm not just saying that because I know him. I mean, the results show it. All right,
the results have shown it, you know what I mean? So
Braves, Padres. You said Max Fried against Joe Musgrove. Padres minus $1.18. Braves coming back minus 102. Low over-under of 6.5 in that ballpark. Any thoughts here? Do you think Fried can extend this thing to 3 or right?
I think he probably can. He's that good of a pitcher that this is their number 2. Chris Sale took over the spot from him whenever Strider went down, but this guy could be a number 1 for anybody else. So while I just said I like the Padres, I think it takes them 3 games to get it done instead of 2. I think Max Fried extends this game for the this series for the Braves. I like Atlanta in this game. I actually like the under. I think it goes under 6.5 here. I liked the under yesterday. Joe Musgrove, pretty damn good as well. Great curveball. One of the better curveballs in baseball. I think he will be good. I think Max will be good. I like under 6.5. I think the Braves extend this to a 3rd game as well.
Okay, so to recap, Moody's plays are under 6.5 in Braves Padres. He's going to go with Bregman or Altuve to hit a bomb. Those are kind of the 2. You said other ones you slightly lean the Mets, but not 100%. And then nothing on Orioles. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I can't get a real good read on that. If anything, I think the Orioles will win the game. And probably part of it's because I got love for Seth Lugo and I want him to do well. So maybe my heart's in that one a little bit more. And I should probably just be listening to my head and go in Baltimore. But I'm gonna stay away.
All right, we're going to switch over to the NFL. We're going very DraftKings heavy gambling.
Let's talk about Devonte Adams before we get into anything.
Let's do it. So Devonte Adams, I'm not surprised. So hadn't missed a game with the Raiders yet. Has a hamstring injury last Thursday in practice that I'm quoting because I don't know if that was serious or not. I just think he wants out. And now they're saying he's kind of said the word's kind of out that I don't know if he plays. Do you think he plays another down for the Raiders? I don't.
No, he was already out last week. I think he'll be injured again. Devonte Adams has a way of maneuvering himself into situations that he likes. I'm curious how actually beat up he is right now, but that's another story. The 2 teams right now that are supposed to be in on him are the Saints and the Jets. Those are apparently the 2 front runners. So I have to ask you, Ben Mintz, what are you willing to give up for Devonte Adams, and how much of a difference would Devonte Adams make for the New Orleans Saints?
Okay, well, first of all, the reason the Saints are being mentioned is because his relationship with Derek Carr. Played college together, played with the Raiders. I'm willing to gamble here. And look, I know Devonte Adams is 31 or 32. He's one of the older receivers in the NFL. His contract, I went through his comment. I went kind of deep diving on this. Contract this year isn't as bad as you think. It's horrible the next 3 years. It's like 30-something million. He'd have to restructure. That just, it is what it is. But I want the Saints to get him. I do, because I think this year you're 2-2 right now. You got a shot for the NFC South. You definitely do, even after losing the last 2 weeks. You've got a veteran team. I don't think Clint Kubiak's going to be around long from what I've seen from him as offensive coordinator already. I know it's kind of come back to earth the last couple weeks, but he's still doing a great job. Derek Carr's older, DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan, Badger. This is a veteran team. You look at the wide receiver position for the New Orleans Saints. Olave's great. Love him. Opposite that, Shaheed's really good, kind of more of a gadget speed guy. They have nothing else. It's totally dust. You slot Devonte Adams in there with Olave, you've got one of the best 1-2 combos, and then you make defenses account for Shaheed as your number 3, as your deep threat and jet sweep guy, and then combine that with Taysom Hill and Kamara out the backfield with Kubiak calling plays. Love it. And I think the Raiders have already said they want a second rounder and maybe some other stuff. It's really not about the compensation. Like, I'm willing to give the second. It's about figuring out the damn contract. And I think the Saints always have a way of maneuvering the cap, and the fact that Adams' cap thing isn't that bad this year, yeah, you're going to have to talk to him before and say, look, ain't no chance you're getting $33 million next year. If you're coming here, this is going to be a restructure. Like, you just got to know that going in. But I'm for it. Screw it, you know. The Saints are an older team. They have a shot to win the NFC South this year. Carr and him have a great relationship. I like Kubiak. I say go for it. And I know it's the Saints thing and the Mickey Loomis thing, always mortgaging the future for the present, but they actually have a shot to win the division this year. And so I think you got to go for it. I think you do. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on it. Giving up a second-round pick for a talent like Devonte Adams is not really the question here. You mentioned it. It's the money. If you can get him to restructure, who would not want Devonte Adams on their team? So I think the Chiefs are probably going to come into play at some point. I don't see
I just don't think the Raiders I don't think the Raiders would trade him to the Chiefs. Just the division.
Same thing with the Chargers. That was kind of the same scenario with the Chargers. They obviously need a receiver as well, but are you going to trade him within your division? That's the only thing that I think will keep Kansas City from possibly acquiring him, because they're desperate right now too. So I could see the Jets, the Saints, and the Chiefs being players for him. Do you think Tyreek Hill is someone that could get traded away?
Before that, I got some more Adams stuff to say. Let's talk about the Jets thing. That's the obvious fit because the Aaron Rodgers relationship. Adams with Garrett Wilson, I mean, that would be really good. The Jets' offense has been struggling, man. I've been riding these Rodgers passing unders have been money so far this year. And they've got a tough one against the Vikings in London this week. They're 2-2. So I think that's an obvious fit. I got one more team to bring up on the Adams sweepstakes you had mentioned that would make a lot of sense. The Washington Commanders.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got cap room because Daniels is on the rookie contract. And you look at that team, the way Daniels is coming on right now, and then you pair Adams with McLaurin. Their receivers, other than McLaurin, are weak. You put Adams on the other side, the way they're coming up with Daniels playing, and the fact that they have the cap room, and this is the first time they've had energy in their fan base. They have a new ownership, Dan Quinn, Daniels. It's a new day. Their fan base is excited. That would pour some gas on the fire. I think it's got to be brought up.
I think it makes a ton of sense because of the cap room as much as anything else. And they're going to be willing to give up a second rounder. They need a receiver on the outside. Right now, it feels like Jaden Daniels is making something out of nothing. Like it really, he is incredible to watch. You give him a receiver like Devonte Adams, that would be scary. I like that more than anything else. It's a little bit selfish for me because I've got Jaden Daniels everywhere, but I would love to see it. I will say I don't know that the Jets will acquire him, because this could easily be Aaron Rodgers' last season. And now you're just stuck with Devonte Adams and his contract and maybe no quarterback moving forward. I actually think the Jets will not be the team to acquire Devonte Adams, even if Aaron Rodgers wants him.
Yeah. Well, I hope the Saints get him. I really do. Because I just think, you look at that NFC South right now, Bucks 3-1, Atlanta and the Saints 2-2, Tampa, we're about to jump into the NFL here. Let's talk about Tyreek Hill for a second too. This Dolphins thing, what do you do? Like the Tyler Huntley, I mean, I know that was his first game and he only practiced a couple weeks, but dude, he ain't the answer. I mean, let's just, you can watch that game. He's not an NFL passer. I mean, it is what it is. So like, Miami's now 1-3. Tua's on IR till week 8. This season's about to be lost. He's not going to play. Like if they're 2-6 or whatever, you're not going to bring him back. There's no way. So what do you do here? Tyreek's got a huge contract, and rightfully so. The thing with him is because that contract is so big, you got to be looking for teams with rookie quarterbacks like the Commanders, people like that could take it. But, I mean, do you consider it, or do you think just you rest Tua, hope he bounces back next year? Like, what do you think here?
By the way, no quarterback on their roster is the answer. But there's no question about that. The Dolphins do not have anyone that can make Tyreek Hill. The question becomes, what do you need to get in return for Tyreek Hill? He has to go for more than Devonte Adams, right?
He's got to be. You got to get a first. You got to get a first round. You got to get a first round.
Exactly. I would almost say maybe a first and a
third,
second or a third to go with it. Yeah, he is that valuable in my eyes. It's going to be who has the money to go get him, though. But I think the Dolphins would be smart to put him on the market and to see what comes back, see if it makes sense for them, because their season's done, man. It is. Buffalo looks a little too good for them to compete with Buffalo down the stretch without Tua. So I think Miami should be entertaining trading away Tyreek Hill.
And I have a little bit of a Dolphins rant for their GM. Tua has been injury prone his entire career. Why did they not bring in a decent backup this offseason? How do you go into the season with Skylar Thompson as your number 2 when you've got so much money invested in Tyreek Hill and Waddle's a first-round pick? Like, you got to have a decent backup quarterback. Tua's last year was the only year he's gotten through the season healthy. And you go into the year with Skylar Thompson as your number 2? That's crazy. I mean, there's all kinds of guys they could have brought in that are at least competent in case Tua went down. I don't know. I just think that was a just bonehead move. And now they're paying for it. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, you're rolling with Huntley again? Or what are they going to bring Ryan Tannehill back to Miami? I don't know what the hell you do.
Oh, I mean, Huntley's just as bad as Ryan Tannehill. So
I think Tannehill's better. Tannehill's better than Huntley.
Yeah, maybe so. None of them are viable, though. There's a reason Ryan Tannehill doesn't have an NFL job right now. Like, none of those guys are going to get you over the hump. So I don't know. I agree with you. Miami should have been more prepared. Why couldn't Sam Darnold have been their backup? Why is that a guy you couldn't have gone and made a play?
The Indy got Flacco. Like, Flacco would have been a good option.
Oh, Flacco could absolutely get the football down the field to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
without
you just got to have somebody that can throw it. I don't know. I just think that's it's crazy to give Tua the $167 million guarantee with his injury history and not do anything at all to back him up with his injury history. I just think no one's surprised. I mean, I just hope he's better. I'm pulling for Tua, but no one's surprised he's hurt. He's been hurt since Alabama. He always is hurt.
By the way, that injury, bro, he could have easily slid or not taken on the contact the way that he did. That was very poor on Tua's part looking back at that injury.
All right, let's run through some NFL. We also will have the DraftKings Fantasy Football Factory podcast out tomorrow morning. We're taping that later today. All right, NFL this week, Thursday night, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Big NFC South matchup. Atlanta's 1.5 and 43.5. I mean, God, these Atlanta games this year, every single game's to the gun. Every game's to the gun. I think you got another one going to the gun here. Got to give, Tampa hard to read, but great bounce back. I don't know what the hell happened in that Denver game. I mean, when you look at the way Tampa's played the first few weeks of the year, really good win over the Eagles, huge win at Detroit, smoked the Commanders week 1. I mean, 3 great efforts, and they just no-showed at home against Denver. But that's the NFL for you. It's a week-to-week thing. But great bounce-back effort. This game in a dome in Atlanta, I'm leaning over 43.5. I think Mayfield and Cousins are going to sling it on the dome turf. And, that's kind of my lean here. I feel like this is another game that goes to the gun, though. And, man, what an opportunity here. So Tampa, 3-1, next 2 weeks at Atlanta, at New Orleans next Sunday. If Tampa, it's going to be very hard to win both, but if they win these next 2, they got a stranglehold on this division early. Stranglehold. I kind of lean, I don't know, my instincts, it feels like a coin flip game either way, but I lean over. I feel like this is going down to the gun. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the over as well. Tampa Bay's defense has not been very good. Their offense has been good. I like the over in this game. I don't have a strong read on it, though. These Thursday night games there's always something kind of gimmicky. Like, I don't trust the primetime games as much. I don't know. That's just me. So Thursday night games have been one that I've kind of stayed away from so far this year. But I would probably be on the over if I'm going to go ahead and throw something at it, just because the Tampa Bay defense does not impress me at all.
Well, but look out for Bucky Irving. Props for Tampa. He's been going over his rushing yards every week. It's been a nightmare if you ever shot White in fantasy because Irving's a lot better running the ball. It's pretty obvious. All right, we're going to run through some Sunday stuff. We got a London game, first London game of the year, Sunday morning, 8:30. Fascinating one. Jets and Vikings. Sam Darnold revenge game against the Jets here in London. Vikings a 2.5-point favorite. Over under 40.5. Got to feel like Minnesota's going to be a pretty public bet here. You just nod down. I could see under here too. Even though the London games get a little wild sometimes.
They do tend to get a little wild. You're right, and that Minnesota defense has been so good that Jets defense is good. Like, I expect this to be a defensive stalemate. Sam Darnold is going to regress. I'm not saying he's going to fall back to earth and crash or anything, but regression is inevitable for Sam Darnold in this offense. This defense cannot get takeover after turnover after turnover and set them up in short fields every single game. Regression is coming at some point. I think this will be the week that we see the Vikings offense regress just a little bit. I think both defenses play well. I like under 40.5 in this game, despite the fact that historically the games overseas have played to higher point totals.
Okay. Yeah, the Vikings 4-0, man. I thought they'd come back to earth at Green Bay, and I couldn't have been more wrong about that game last week. Jets need this at 2-2. Bad loss at home against Denver, to say the least, last week. I'm looking for Rodgers passing under again, too, man. I mean, it's just every week. He goes way under. He's just not throwing the ball that well.
Doesn't it feel like the Vikings should be better than 2.5-point favorites here?
That's my thing about it. I'm a little worried Vikings are going to be real public here. I thought they should be 3.
I think that's why I would prefer the under, because it feels like betting against the Vikings is not the smart play. But they're going to be they're going to definitely be, the public's going to be on them heavy at -2.5. Excuse me.
All right, Panthers at the Bears. Wow, this is a short line. I actually went through the line. I always go through the lines on Tuesday to get a first feel, and I misread this. I thought it was 8.5, and it's 3.5. Bears are only 3.5 at home against Carolina. That's a real short line. Carolina has played a lot better with Dalton, and they're scoring a lot more points. But, man, I thought the Bears would be like 6 or 7 against the Panthers.
I think the Panthers are a much better team without Bryce Young back there. I mean, I'm not saying that they're a good football team, but they are worthy of being 4 or 5 point dogs in this game. This is one I'm not going to touch, though. I still can't figure out the Bears. Are they good? Are they just average? This is a game that I'm probably going to stay far away from, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you, the upgrade from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton's, it's funny because you think about it and you go, oh, that's not a big upgrade. It's the biggest upgrade ever, and the whole team feels it too. And you just see
being able to see over the offensive line makes a difference in the NFL. If you can't freaking see what you're throwing at, like you're never going to be successful. He didn't even see some of the blitzes. He couldn't pick up a blitz pre-snap. He definitely wasn't dissecting stuff post-snap. It was really bad. I think Bryce Young is done in the NFL. I know there's like people out there trying to give him a second opportunity, and he deserves a second opportunity, but I saw nothing from – I think he will deserve it because of the talent, where he went. But, no, I don't think he's ever going to be a viable NFL quarterback. He's too small, and I truly don't think that he is made for the game, which is my opinion.
Cleveland Browns heading to Washington. Washington -3. I mean, you've got the hottest quarterback in the NFL in Jaden Daniels and maybe the coldest in Deshaun Watson. I feel like the Commanders will be pretty public here, which kind of worries me a little bit. But, man, I mean, I'm Washington or nothing. I mean, I'm not going against Daniels right now.
I'm done with Cleveland. I've bet Cleveland twice this year. I'm 0-2. I keep thinking they're better than they are. Deshaun Watson sucks. I'm probably going to take the over here because the secondary for Cleveland has been getting toasted lately. I mean, they've been getting absolutely toasted. So, obviously, the Redskins defense played better.
Commanders.
They're still not good. The Commanders, my bad. I still do that. The Commanders defense has played better They played better last week. They're still not good. Give me the over. I love the over in this game.
Fascinating one in Cincy. Ravens by 2.5 road favorite at the Bengals, who are 1-3 in kind of a must-win situation. Over under 50.5. Ravens looked awesome on Sunday Night Football to get back to 2-2, but both teams need this game. Ravens 2-2, Bengals 1-3. You know, you look at this AFC North, the Steelers are 3-1, Cleveland's struggling. This is kind of a game that really could determine stuff going forward here. I mean, the Bengals got to have this game. You can't fall to 1-4 to lose this division. I don't know if that's enough to win it. Burrow has looked a hell of a lot better the last couple weeks with Chase. They've been getting it going. Bengals have a good pass D, but they don't have the best run D, so I don't know if they match up well with Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry could have a big game here. Cincinnati is going to show up, though. This is a must-win. This is desperate times for them early on in the season. They cannot be giving up L's to divisional opponents, especially the one that's at the top right now. This is the most important game of the entire season for Cincinnati, possibly. Like, you cannot lose this game, at least in my opinion. You don't need to lose this early and fall that far behind Baltimore when Baltimore is playing good. That just gives them that much more momentum. Huge spot here for Cincinnati. I still don't think they get it done.
Bills -1 in Houston. Stephon Diggs playing his team from last year. My instincts like Houston here. 1-point home dog. Boy, I feel like every year, does Buffalo just have the hardest schedule every year? It's crazy. Every single week, you just feel like, oh, they're playing some elite team. I know the only thing about this game that concerns me is the old you're never as good or as bad as you are on Sunday or Monday Night Football, and the Bills just got slaughtered at Baltimore. But Houston is a 1-point home dog in the Dome here. I still kind of think Houston is the right side here.
I think this is one of the toughest games of the entire week to read. Houston should be better than they've performed to this point. Buffalo, like you said, they're just playing the best of the best every week, it seems like. They've taken care of business against the bad teams. They've kind of slipped up against the better opponents, though. I would lean Houston as well. This is a tough one for me, Ben. I'm going to ride with you on this one.
All right, I've got my strongest opinion of the week is on this next game that people are going to think it's like a throwaway. It's Indy at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's 2.5 and 46.5. For whatever reason in sports, there's always matchups where teams play crappy. Go look at how the Colts have played in Jacksonville the last 5 to 10 years. It's a nightmare. They always play like crap down there. They never score any points. It's just like a weird thing. And it has been for a while. I haven't heard the Flacco or Richardson thing yet on who's going to go. And so I'm curious on that. But regardless of that, this over-under is insanely too hot, 46.5. I mean, I think this game's going to be like 37 or 38. So I'm slamming the under. Jacksonville's a 2.5-point favorite at 0-3. They're in a total must-win. I lean Jacksonville, but they do kind of suck. But I lean Jacksonville, and I love the under. I love. I think under 46.5 here is the best bet of the week. Indy's a lot different when they're on the road, not in the Dome.
Even if Joe Flacco is the quarterback, you like the under?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think Flacco's – he is way better, though.
He is better. They're a better offense with Flacco back there because they have the true threat of the pass. Like we saw – I mean, if you watched the game last week, Flacco was actually making the receivers on the outside viable from a fantasy standpoint. So, for me, the Colts are a better team with him back there. We're going to find out who plays on Sunday. I'll give something out on that on Sunday morning because I kind of lean the other way.
Okay, Dolphins, Patriots, New England won. What a crappy game, 35.5. I actually kind of think New England will just win ugly, but I don't know if I'm going to bet on it. Miami's just such a mess right now. All right, next up, Cardinals plus 7.5 at the Niners, 49.5. Is the Cardinals party over? They're getting smoked at the line of scrimmage, and that's what's hurting Kyler. Their offensive line's having big problems the last 2 weeks against Detroit and the Commanders.
Yeah, they've had a ton of issues trying to protect him. It's been crazy. By the way, Kyler Murray is an athlete, dude. He is such a stud back there. If they could give him more time, he will pick defenses apart. He's already making tons of plays with his legs. Like watching him play the game of football is very fun, very exciting. I still like the 49ers in this spot.
Yeah, I do too. The Niners are playing, man, Purdy's yards per attempt are crazy. Like he doesn't even throw more than 20, 25 passes a game, and he throws for like 300 every week the way they push the ball down the field.
And now that they got, is so good too.
Yeah, and having Debo back too. Now they got, Ayuk still hadn't really broken out this year, but I mean they've got the weapons, and they're just you just can't go against Shanahan. It's just Raiders plus 2.5 at Denver, crappy game. Kind of feels like one you just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I agree.
Packers by 3 at the LA Rams, 48. LaFleur is a McVay guy, so a lot of coaching. Everybody knows everything in this game. I don't really know what to think of this one, to be honest.
I would lean the over. I keep taking the overs in the Rams games because their defense is just depleted on the back end. That offense is capable even without some of their best receivers on the outside. Kyron Williams' touchdowns have been automatic lately, by the way. He's really become one of the best running backs in the league, one of the most reliable running backs in the league. That's something I'll be looking at on Sunday.
All right, Giants plus 6 at Seattle, 43.5. I think this is Seattle bounce back off the Monday night loss. That's a tough place to go play. I think the Giants will struggle in this one.
I could see it. The Giants are playing better football than I expected them to. I will give them
they're fighting.
that.
No, I mean, they had the win at Cleveland, and then they fought Dallas, even though Dallas should have covered. Man, they missed that field
Yes,
goal.
Dallas absolutely should have covered. Hey, by the way, if there was ever a way for the NFL to rig games, it's with these field goals. Because did you see the hard hook that ball took whenever he kicked it? Like the look on his face after he missed that field goal was crazy. I'm saying if the NFL were to ever rig games, I think it would be something with like the field goals and magnets. I know it's a crazy thing, but
what a conspiracy! I'm gonna have to ask PFT. PFT's our kicking guy. I'm gonna ask him about that.
The way that ball took off on that missed field goal, it gets up, it's online, and then it hard hooked, as hard as I've ever seen a football hook to the right in my life. I don't know. That's just, I'm having some fun with it. I don't think that's the case, but if it were.
Oh, man, the magnets. I'm gonna ask PFT about that. Sunday night, Dallas at Pittsburgh. Real fun Sunday night when Pittsburgh 2.5 and 43. This is a hard game to call. I mean, I know that's a blatantly obvious thing. 43 might feel a touch high here.
Oh, what's the game again? My bad. I was zoned out.
Dallas at Pittsburgh, Sunday night.
Oh, Dallas at Pittsburgh. Oh, it's a great game. Yeah, I think it's an important game for the Cowboys. They need to get this win against – I still don't think Pittsburgh's that good. I know defensively they're good. I still don't trust Justin Fields. I think the Cowboys will expose the Steelers. I like Dallas in this game.
Okay. And then finally Monday night, fun one, Saints and Chiefs. Chiefs 4.5 and 42. This Chiefs thing, Andy Reid special, man. They're 4-0. They do just enough to win every week. You can't lay points with them. They do literally just enough to win. And man, it's a tough situation right now. I mean, you're dealing with no Rashee Rice, Pacheco, or Hollywood Brown. You know, Kelsey had a good game last week, but he slowed down. Worthy caught a long touchdown, but he's still more of a gadget guy than an actual like NFL number one receiver. This Chiefs offense is in really bad shape. I mean, the defense is awesome, so they're doing just enough to win. I think this is going to be a close game. I mean, I feel like I can already see it. The Chiefs just find a way at the end again, and the Saints lose a third dagger in a row. It's kind of what I think's coming.
I do think that Travis Kelce has his best game of the season against the Saints. That is the one place the Saints have been getting beat up is by tight ends.
Oh, yeah, Goddard, 170 yards. Kelce had 90 yards. He had a good game against the Chargers.
But I think he surpasses that this week. I think he gets in the end zone. I think this will be the best week of the early season for Travis Kelce. I don't know what direction I lean on that game. Obviously, I think Kansas City's the better team, but without Rashee Rice, I need to see it first. But I like Travis Kelce in that game. I'm going to rip the Kelce overs.
All right. Well, man, so much fun, though. As always, check out DraftKings, our partner. I mean, all kinds of fun props. We're firing Major League Baseball playoffs. We're firing NFL. And thanks for joining us this morning. So go ahead. What you got on the way out?
Yeah, DraftKings plus 200 surge on a home run prop today. Something tells me Jose Altuve. I like.
All right, I'm doing it.
One of those two. Yeah, one of those two.
Well, are you going Altuve or Bregman? You got to make your mind up for the people listening. Who are you going with?
I think Bregman. I
Bregman.
I like Altuve, but it's Bregman. I'm going Bregman.
Okay, Alex Bregman, home run on the boost to DraftKings is our play today. The Moody play here on Wake Up Mintzy. I'm in on it, and I'm going to take the Astros 15-1. They might be out in a few hours, and I may just punt money. But I said all year I regretted not getting them 16-1. I've got a chance in front of me to get them 15-1 here. I'm going to seize it because we thought the Tigers might win Game 1 anyway. So I'm hopping on it. Astros 15-1 World Series bet. Book it on DraftKings. Thanks to Dude Wipe, Stella Blue, as always. So much fun to get in here, talk some gambling, talk some DraftKings. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's have us a hell of a day, boys. Man, I love fall. Man, I love fall. Leaves are changing, football, and Stella Blue coffee. And this season, maple pumpkin pie. But my morning routine would not be complete without Dumpkin Spice Dude Wipes.
Oh, Mintzy, let it rip.
Cheers, furry fellas. Coffee that fuels you, wipes that clean you.